All right, so just a quick rundown of the SB-350 connector and how to make these cross-compatible with each other. The issue is, these are also called Anderson connectors, and the issue is that these little tabs have to have another connector of the same type to index, so you can't use the gray and the red, the yellow. You get the idea. If you cut out the bottom tab, and you don't have to do this on the gray ones because it's fully bottomed out, as you can see. All you got to do is cut this tab in the center out. The other colors, you have to go in and basically make this. You can see the little wall on the end there. You have to make that basically cut down to nothing like the gray ones for it to work. And then you can, once you cut the center tab out and the bottom, you can basically put them in whatever. So the easiest way of doing this is actually to get a pair of flush cutters, and I'm sorry about having to use a GoPro here, but I don't know where the tripod mount is for my other camera. But the easiest way of doing this is get yourself a pair of these flush cutters, and then make sure they're flush cutters, not regular diagonals or dikes or however you want to refer to them, because what will happen is you will end up leaving a gap in there and they still won't mesh together. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to go and get yourself like a pair of regular pliers, and that way you can bend back and forth. So what you're going to do is put this flush up against the side in the center pin here, cut, and try to cut it as flush as you can. And this one actually snapped off because I believe this connector was overheated at one point or another, and they do become brittle with age. That's normally why you end up having to replace these, is because somebody had broken it during removal, because people for whatever reason can't unplug these things easily, which you can actually use dielectric grease on the lugs that are normally in here to help with that, and it won't cause any issues. It'll actually be a lot easier to remove. So you can see here that you basically take that out, that center part out. Now this little nub at the bottom here, you can certainly try to remove it completely, and I've done these on so many cables, because you can use these to make jumpers. That way you can have a set that is universal, that works for whatever forklift you're trying to do it on. I am a forklift technician, so we need to be able to move trucks around that are dead and use them to unload trucks that are brand new, you know, with the battery out of them, stuff like that. But this has a bunch of other uses. So now what you're going to do, because anything but the gray connector, you're going to have to basically make this flush. So it's really hard to see, but you can see the little lip there. So we're going to cut that out too. You can use, these are Harbor Freight Icon ones. You can use these cheap little sets. The Harbor Freight ones I think are like 25 bucks. You can normally find a sale on them. They do many sales on the Icon stuff, and they're actually pretty good. So you just put two lines, one on each side. This is why you need the flush cutters. And then you grab it with a pair of pliers. You just wiggle it back and forth. And you can see there's a little bit of an uneven edge there, but that's okay. Because we're going to go in and clean it up. I'm going to show you how you can clean these up too. But now, this one works, and these don't actually go back completely. There's a tiny bit of dead space, so if you don't get that completely flush, it's not that big of a deal. I use a Dremel, and I like using these little flex extensions, the actual ones hanging up in the corner here, with a carbide end mill on them. And this works good for a bunch of other things, like if you're making enclosures and you need to cut out for switches. And so we're going to use this to basically go in here, and it's going to be kind of hard to see, but we're just going to make it look a little nicer. And just watch your collar on here, because it will brush up. It's kind of hard because I'm trying to do this so that people can see it, but and I'd recommend not breathing this plastic in if you can help it. It's some kind of composite, so I think there's actually fiberglass in it. And as you can see there, and again, if you could get this done with the flush cutters, you don't have to do all this. But I like to have everything nice and clean. And if you're going to make a set of these to use like full time, like this set here I did earlier, if you're going to make a set of these that you're going to want to use full time, just take the time, make them nice. You know, clean up the edges. But as you can see, the bottom channel is very similar, and that's what allows you to use these on uncut connectors of a different type. And you could do this on the black connectors. Don't have a center part like this. This is just removed completely, and it's just the 2 tabs, and it doesn't have the center part either. I think the black ones you can actually use universally. They're kind of hard to find. You have to basically order them every time. So we only ever use them. We have battery carts that we can load up in our vans to take them, you know, and move different trucks around. We use them on those, but for jumpers and stuff. And you can see there's a whole slew of jumper cables that I've made and adapters over there. But yeah, that's the easiest way of doing it. You could do it with the 175s too. The only difference with the 175s and the 350 and the 175, that just refers to the amperage that they're rated for. Like, you can use a gray connector on a 12-volt truck. You could use a yellow connector on a 36-volt truck. It doesn't matter. They are literally built to the same specification. So like, I know that one of the places I go to, they have order pickers, and then they have regular stand-up counterbalances, pacers, whatever you want to call them. And the order pickers are the red connector, and the rest of the trucks are the gray, and that's so that they don't park them in the wrong charging area, because it just gets kind of messy. But anyway, you could see with these little ones, which these are normally used for things like pallet jacks, there's a little tab on the side here, and then there's the center part, and you actually have to remove both the center and the side tabs. On the gray ones, you just have to remove the center. That's basically it. These red ones, you can kind of cheat a little bit, and you can just cut it flush, but I always just knock out the centers of them. It's a lot easier. These little ones I really don't mess with too much, because I basically made a set that converts these big ones down to the small ones that I use, and I just hate messing with them. They're small, they're harder to work with without cutting yourself, and so that's basically it.